What's going on, Reggie?
What's up, Mr. 411?
Hey, man, you know what time it is. We here for Turnbuckle Talk. Today is September the 20th, 2023. Man, it's the end of summer, man. But
Yeah,
but things are heating up.
right. And the rest of the world is heating up.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into it in just a moment. We definitely will. But we can't start the show without the bad man. Bad
Man,
news.
Bad News Brown.
Yes, sir. There it is. I see it in the title right there. B&B Reggie. Yes, sir. All right, man. Don't forget, man, you gotta get ready for the costume party, man. Like I said, you got everything. You got everything together, man. Everything's together. Except I wonder if you're gonna come out in the tights though. That's what I'm waiting.
If I was single, man, I might pop in there with them on, man, with the black Hanes on. But I can't embarrass my wife like that.
You say the black. That Hanes. Oh my goodness. All right, man. All right, Turnbuckle Talk, guys.
Let's go.
You already know. SmackDown review. Let's go ahead and get right into it, bro. You already know what went down. There was a
It
couple of
doesn't
people
matter what.
returned.
It doesn't matter what went down. We know what went down.
It,
Big, big. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, you good, man, because you know it went down big, man. So you might as well kick it off for us.
yes, sir. I think it was out of the blue. I didn't hear nobody talking about this. Show started out with who's that? Austin Theory, my guy Austin Theory. I'm a fan now. Austin Theory in the ring, talking to what's this guy? What's his name? McAfee.
Grayson Waller.
What? I know. I thought it was McAfee.
No, I'm sorry, Pat McAfee. We get to that later too with Grayson Waller. But Pat McAfee came out, which was a surprise, right?
Right. Everybody loves Pat, ESPN guy, wrestling guy, so he knows the business. Came out talking to Austin Theory. Austin Theory telling him basically it's not his show. Austin thinks for some reason SmackDown is his show. He's the guy, but the big guy, the guy the show was actually named after that music hit, and I couldn't believe it. I don't think the crowd. I know we're in Colorado, and Dion's got the spotlight on Colorado right now, and Jokic in basketball. You know, Colorado's the thing, but I don't think they expected The Rock to show up. And the music hit, everybody lost their minds.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine say his kid was running through the house and they couldn't catch him. He was just
Wow.
screaming. he was just screaming because The Rock was actually there on TV and he wasn't expecting it. But The Rock came out, had a face-to-face conference with Austin Theory, telling him basically it's not his show. And I personally I'm really leaning towards Austin Theory now.
Yeah.
He was in the ring face to face with The Rock. He stood his ground, said what he had to say. Rock said what he had to say. And of course, Rock has the crowd in the palm of his hand. One side screaming this. I ain't gonna repeat it.
You can't. It's after 9. Oh, it's after 8.
Yeah. One side screaming, "As you're an asshole, you're an asshole." I mean, like McAfee said, they probably could have screamed that all night because The Rock had him in his hands.
Yeah.
And The Rock ended it with the people's elbow. He's the people champ, man. We can't wait to see him. We don't know what's coming from here, but we know what we want to see in the long run. Will we get it? I'm not sure, but The Rock is finally back home.
Finally, and that's the key word. You said home because he is WWE born and bred, and his father, wrestled in WWE. His grandfather did, and all the family pretty much is there, still there, and that ties back to what you're talking about. What we're looking for down the line with a potential match with Roman Reigns somewhere in there. Did you hear about the interview between on the Pat McAfee show with The Rock, and he revealed that Roman Reigns and The Rock was in the works, but it just didn't, pan out for whatever reason. But it was literally in the works, and I guess they just didn't see how it all can get done. But man, I'm telling you, with the writer's strike and everything going on, The Rock, he may have a couple of extra moments here where he can get back involved with wrestling in more detail. And man, I'm curious to see how it's going to go, because you're gonna have a Roman Reigns, a Rock, Cody Rhodes, all that's kind of rolled into one right now, and even
Right.
Jey Uso, if you will, and Jimmy Uso and Sikoa, Solo Sikoa. So who knows how any of this is gonna play out? But I'm here for it right now. I'm here for whatever potentially can happen. He didn't show up for no reason. He didn't show up just to be here for a quick rating or anything like that, because they don't need that.
Right.
This is done for a reason. This is done to kind of set us up and get us prepared for what's to come. So we'll find out.
Right, and you mentioned the bloodline thing, but for me, I wouldn't mind. It would be, like I said, I'm on my Austin Theory kick right now,
Right.
so it would be amazing. I think everybody's looking at the bloodline thing with The Rock, but also look at what they're doing with Austin Theory.
Yeah.
It's fought John Cena.
Yep. Check.
He's done. He's in there with The Rock.
Check. Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio.
Check.
They're making him a made man right now.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He had a win with Stone Cold.
Yeah, had a match with Stone Cold at WrestleMania the year before.
No, that was Owens.
Well, it was Kevin Owens, but Austin Theory was involved with that and got stunned too.
Right. Because then it all comes from like an Austin Theory, like a segment.
Yeah, and Austin Theory had just got in another segment, I think, with somebody else too, but he ended up getting stunned by Stone Cold as well. And don't forget, Austin Theory also was F5 off the top of the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
I think 2 years ago, maybe, or a year ago or so, when in the Elimination Chamber by Brock Lesnar. So he's been involved with all the greats.
He's involved with all the heavy hitters. They're setting them up, moving them at a slow pace. And I think we'll talk about this guy a little bit later. He had a little segment. I think he is on the verge. I think he's on the verge of being the next John Cena.
Wow. All right. I'm ready to hear that, Reggie. Let's throw up a couple of other notes here from SmackDown. Finn Balor had an excellent match, man, with AJ Styles, man. Think about this, man. Friday night SmackDown show. Finn Balor, AJ Styles. I mean, that's like that is high quality match right there in itself, and it was a very good match. The Street Profits and the LWO had a tag match, and what was interesting there was Bobby Lashley really stepping in after the match and demanding that the Street Profits lay some fist on those guys after the match. And that to me kind of is starting to set the table of the Street Profits turning a little heelish here, because the LWO is loved. The Street Profits, you could tell they're still loved, and Bobby is too. By the fans cheer for all of them, right? Everybody in the match. But when the match ended, the people, the faction that did the heel stuff was Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. And then Dawkins got a nice lick in on Rey Mysterio. Had a nice cheap shot on Rey Mysterio too. So they're setting up next week Street Profits against Rey Mysterio and Escobar.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I know you're still here. I'm just giving out some of the details here. Asuka defeated Bayley, and then it was a good match. That was the main event, actually, as far as matches go. Asuka and Bayley. Asuka defeated Bayley, but there was again another distraction there from Shotzi, and that's been going on for a while too. What I like is WWE is that like they're not just doing stories then it's over with. It's kind of still that night, the night when Damage Control cut the hair off Shotzi. That was months ago, and it's still coming back to haunt Bailey. So at some point, we're gonna get them in the ring in a match at some point. Pretty Deadly, they're still on the cameras. They're future tag team champions. You can go ahead and mark that. But they were backstage with Adam Pearce, and one of the guys is still suffering from the injury that he had. But just quickly going back to the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, what are your thoughts on those guys?
I think it's time for them to do something, and I'm glad they actually went with attacking the LWO, because the LWO, they have their fans, like you said, a legion of LWO Latino fans. So that was something they can do to actually get on the road to what I think the storyline is going to be. We're challenging them, and they get them out of the way, and then who knows, they'll move on to the tag titles. I also got a question for you, real quick.
Sure.
And this might be a little bit off topic, but it's still with the Street Profits and the LWO. You mentioned something. You mentioned that the fans are cheering for everyone. Do you think with this TKO merger that we're getting into a stage where it's wrestler versus heel versus face?
You know what? You're saying you, and make sure that you repeat that for me. You're saying that you think that you're asking me, do you think that they're going to get away from heel versus face?
Yeah, because we got so many heels. I know back in the day, the Attitude Era, NWO,
Yeah.
we always, even Stone Cold, we always cheered for the Renegade, kind of, and
Oh, okay. Okay.
kind of doing
I
the
get.
same
I
thing now.
I
And
kind of get what you're saying.
I can see with that TKO merger, and I think it would be better if they actually eliminate that, and we can get some more matches that we haven't seen.
Well, I think professional wrestling at its core is good versus evil, right?
Right.
It's generally good versus evil. You generally cheer for one, boo for the other. If we use boxing for example, even the last fight with Crawford and Spence, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got people that are in Crawford's camp and people that are in Spence camp. It's not necessarily you going for one. Everybody's on one side of the fence and somebody's the enemy on the other side. Outside of pretty much when you have like a boxer go overseas or come from another country, like if someone from Mexico goes over to England and boxes the popular English boxer,
Right.
the the boxer over in England will have the home advantage, but UFC, they go by the rankings, and you just cheer for who you like. And
Right.
but with wrestling, it's pretty much good versus evil. That's the core of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do have the outliers like the NWO. Remember when they Stone Cold, the guys
Right.
that blurred the line. Even The Rock at some point started blurring lines with as a wrestler. But I think that WWE has done it for a while. I mean, they've had matches where you had a lot of good, the good versus good. Because even Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, that match for the world title, uh, that was good versus good. You know what I'm saying? Hogan and
Right.
Ultimate Warrior, good versus good. But I do think that WWE has blurred the line since the Attitude Era,
Mm-hmm.
and more like you said, more the Renegade guys. So I think pretty much the fans are more conditioned to just go for who they like more so than anything.
Right. That's what it does. And you brought up Seth Rollins because, like, the beginning of the year, Seth Rollins was a heel, but I think he was so
Yeah,
good at he was so good at being a heel that the fans loved him so much that he organically turned face.
right.
Because not too long ago, I mean, he was punishing Cody Rhodes,
Yeah,
and now he's one of the top baby faces in the federation. But I'm,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
No, that's good. I mean, that's good stuff because that's actually part of what happened. And again, like even myself in watching it, it's like, man, I didn't really want to see the LWO and the Street Profits wrestle.
Right.
Like, like, cause but then it turned out to be a good match and everything, and it's gonna matter as far as title pictures and stuff down the line. And but when I saw what happened after the match, that was the part where it's like, okay, like now I'm starting to feel or see like, okay, they're going on this side of the fence. LWO was already going to be on the babyface side. There's
Right.
nothing telling you different. But as far as Street Profits, you can even kind of even notice it by the fans when that happened. You know, they weren't too happy with Dawkins punching Rey Mysterio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
But I like it.
oh yeah,
I think they'll be better as a heel. And there's more teams to run through as a heel. So I hope it. Like I said, I was waiting for the Street Profits to actually get the role, start getting into their storylines instead
yeah,
of just coming out there or whatever. I want to see them get into a story because I really want to see. Everybody's calling them the Hurt Business. They haven't even called themselves the Hurt Business yet. So
right,
does the faction have a name? What's actually their agenda? That's what I want to see now. Because I was
yeah,
about to coming in here and calling them the Suit Profits. Because all they do is come out in those nice suits instead of putting the wrestling up. So yeah, I'm glad they started that, and hopefully this is their first storyline with the LWO. Oh, and
and,
who knows? Maybe we'll get Bobby versus Ray or Escobar down the line.
right. And also, don't forget this either. Not what maybe a week or so ago, they was in the face of the Judgment Day too. And the
So
Judgment
that's
Day
what I'm
is
saying.
clearly,
Yeah, that would confuse me, but I'm glad they went with the LWO this time.
yeah. So they after everybody,
Right,
the
anybody
good
can
and the
get
evil.
it.
So
Anybody can get it. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
those guys are at the top, so anybody can get it.
yeah. So we'll see where it goes. It does give that feel though, the TKO, UFC type feel where it's just everybody against everybody. Go for the, you know, everybody's trying to get to the title. At
Right,
some point.
right. And
Yeah,
I think that would be very interesting if they do it that way with a ranking system and things like that. I think that would be very, very interesting.
yeah. And if I didn't mention it, I think I touched on it a little bit, but Finn Balor did defeat AJ Styles. He did obviously get some help. There was some distractions there. There's no way you can not have uh, a Judgment Day match and not have distractions in some sort of way.
Right.
But here's the key to it: Jimmy Uso
Was
was
the
the final
distraction.
piece to that puzzle in that match, and so kind of like a little payback for when Judgment Day offered up AJ Styles to Solo Secure the week before. So man, we got a lot of intertwining going on. So we'll see what's happening there.
Right. Everything feels that it's happening for a reason. And that's what I really like. And I'm really liking Sneaky Jimmy Uso. I'm really
Yeah,
liking Sneaky Jimmy Uso. So
yeah, I like his
he's kind of
music too.
he's kind of a dirtbag, and I like it that he's really growing into his own. And me being me, I say this every week. I'm a heel guy. I'm liking Jimmy and Jay. We'll get into Jay when we do the Raw review, but
Yeah.
I'm going for Jimmy now. I'm right with Jimmy, man, and I'm glad
Okay.
he came. He helped out the Judgment Day, and I don't want to get ahead of our plot right here, but he's helping the Judgment Day, and his brother is hurting the Judgment Day, and
Interesting.
right, and
Interesting.
he still has the alignment with the bloodline with Solo. You don't know what he's going to do there, so it's a lot involving Jimmy, and it's still the bloodline, but when you play video games and you have that side mission.
Yeah.
This feels like a good side mission. We
Yeah.
still got
Yeah.
Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, but we got this side mission now with Jimmy and Jay, and it's going in the right direction. So I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's put another good piece in there too with Paul Heyman, how he's sneaking around in the back, overhearing the conversations and all this kind of
Right.
stuff. I mean, that stuff. I mean, this is some good stuff, and they're still tying Roman Reigns in, even though he's not physically there because of the
Right.
cell phone. You know,
Right. He's
he
still
always
making
says
calls.
call Roman Reigns.
Right.
So
He's still making calls to the tribal chief. Tribal chief knows what's going on. And when he gets back, I know he's going to have a lot to say. And I wonder if he's going to even hint at his cousin now, being in the being back on WWE.
exactly. And we might as well before we get to the LA Knight Miz match. We'll go ahead and just tie everything up with Jimmy Uso. So at the end of the show, there was the Grayson Waller Effect talk show. John Cena's out there. Confrontations going on out there in the ring, AJ Styles comes out to uh help AJ versus the against the bloodline because Jimmy jumps out there, Solo's out there. And so it looks like to me, we may be looking to some sort of AJ Styles Cena tag match against Jimmy and Solo. What you think?
Yeah, that'll be a good match. I think there's another match that's going to push the storyline. I see them coming together, AJ and Cena, for the actual match. To help each other out. But I think it's more of something to push the storyline with Jimmy and Solo. So, and I was going to ask you, do you know what the next premium live event they could have that at, or where's
What
that?
they could have it in Indianapolis, Indiana at Fastlane. That's coming
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they could do that tag match there. And then I would like to see AJ Styles against Roman Reigns at some point. I think that AJ would be a good opponent for Roman for a title defense. And I also would like to see Cena against Solo 1-on-1.
Oh, that would be a nice match. That's a nice, we're gonna save it early WrestleMania prediction match right there. I like that one.
Okay. All
But I
right.
was gonna shoot, that's strange. Roman hasn't faced AJ in this run. I know AJ got
Not
hurt.
this run. Not in
AJ
this
got hurt.
run.
So
Yeah. Yeah, so that'd be a good one. That'd be a formidable opponent too. That's a legitimate opponent right there. AJ Styles one of the best wrestlers ever, in my
right,
opinion.
right. And I kind of see why we didn't get it, because we did get the AJ versus Seth match for the
Yeah.
world title. So I can see that, but I think he deserves a shot. I didn't even think about it. He definitely deserves a shot at it.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, before we get to Raw, let's wrap up SmackDown with your thoughts on LA Knight versus The Miz. I thought it was a good match.
Good, solid match. And again, they're building LA Knight. He's called out champions. It doesn't matter what championship he's going after champions. And the Miz brings it every time he comes out there. The Miz, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I look back at some of the Miz matches, and the Miz is that guy that, okay, if you can go toe to toe with the Miz in the ring, you might deserve to get pushed to the next level.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of his past opponents. I was like, a lot of these guys really did take on Miz on their first match. Their first feud was with the Miz, and he's good on the mic and he's good in the ring. Very dependable, reliable. Um, he's not going to get you hurt in the ring. Don't take too many chances, but he puts on hell of a match. We always come here to talk about Hall of Famers, certified Hall of Famers, but the
Yeah.
Miz is one of those guys that's definitely a certified Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, he's first ballot, man. In and out of the ring. He's done it all for WWE. And a Grand Slam champion inside the ring, meaning he won all the belts twice. Uh,
Twice.
and then and then also like I say, outside the ring with the shows that he has, the movies, just how he promotes a lot of things. He is like, I mean, he's made self-made man. And you're right, he's kind of like a gatekeeper at this point too, where
Mhm.
if you get through him, then you're on your way. If you can't get through the Miz, then you got some more work to do. So yeah, definitely, man. But definitely good for LA Knight to have a rivalry against the Miz.
I was about to say, do you think this is going to wrap up, or do you think they'll get another one maybe at Fastlane, like a stipulation match or something?
I mean, I think it's time to move on now. I think that they had they had a couple matches now. They had a match on a premium live event. Uh, he beat him this time. You know what I'm saying? He got him again. So I think that even if the Miz had win a match, like he would still be down in the scorecard. I
Right.
think that LA Knight can now move to his next thing. And I like what you said earlier. He called out Roman Reigns. He called out Gunther. He called out anybody who has a belt, and Rey Mysterio. So his mission now is to go after a championship. So it didn't matter which one. So I think he's going after a championship next. Miz will find somebody else to mix it up with at some point.
Right. And
Yeah.
you might be about to hear that the next topic. I don't want to cut you off before we get
No,
into
go.
Raw.
You good?
You mentioned Rey Mysterio. Let's not forget that Santo Escobar he didn't challenge him. He kind of asked him
Ye-
for a match. And at first, Ray was kidding with him, like, really, you asked me for a match, but he was like,
Yeah.
man, it'll be a great thing, man. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a great match. Did they announce where that match is going to be at? Is it
Uh,
going to be at
you
SmackDown
got
or
me now. I don't think they have yet. I don't think
okay?
they've made that a match. I feel like that should be a match at Fastlane.
Yeah, it definitely should be a match at Fastlane. It's going to be a good match. I'm a big fan of Santos Escobar. He's one of the guys that you told me to check out. I think it was a ladder match in NXT,
Yes.
and I came away. It was like that's the guy that I forgot who it was you told me to look at, but I think it might have been Carmelo. But I started
Carmelo
looking
Hayes
at
was in that match too. Yeah.
I was looking at Santos. I was like, man, I like this dude. I like him. I like
Oh,
Santos Escobar.
he's good, man. He's been around a long time too. Like he has a one day we'll get to his story, but he's one of those guys too, kind of like a LA Knight ish, where you had that road, that
Mhm.
long road, and he's earned it, man. And I'm glad he's there. And then he's got a Rey Mysterio to work with too. So
Right.
that's good. That's good for him. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'm glad you checked that out. Santos Escobar, very good, very good. By the way, check out the rivalry between Escobar and also the guys over there, the Italian mob that's over there right now in NXT. You check that out. That was a good rivalry. I'll make sure the link's on there.
Okay.
All right,
Okay. Okay. Check it out.
let's go to Raw. And man, okay, for Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso is the thread for the entire night. You have pretty much nobody trusts Jey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because of all the dirt that he's done for all these years with the bloodline. And so he's got nothing but enemies outside of Sammy, who came out there to kind of calm down his tag team partner, KO. And Cody's the one that unlocked all this by, getting
Mm-hmm.
Jay back in here, using whatever last favors he has to get Jay over. So what's your thoughts on Kevin Owens confronting Jey Uso?
It is well deserved because they've taken Kevin Owens through it. Especially Kevin Owens, not just Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn was cool with him. Kevin Owens ain't never been cool with him, and he's had a couple of run-ins with the Bloodlines. I think that both of them were at Royal Rumbles, if I'm not mistaken,
Right,
where he fought Roman Reigns. So I can 100% agree with Kevin Owens. I'm not trusting this dude, and I'm with KO actually on this. I'm not with Sammy on this, and I
yeah,
don't see how Sammy can. I don't see how Sammy can trust him because at first Jay wasn't welcoming to Sammy in the bloodline. It took him weeks after weeks to get on Jay's good side. So when
right.
he finally did in the court in the little a bloodline court case, a tribal court case, but yeah, I'm with KO, man. You got to prove yourself. You just can't come on here and everybody gonna like you. Nah, man, you're in the corner by yourself right now. You got to do something to really prove that hey, you're on our side and you're not
Yeah.
still tied up with the bloodline.
Right. And Judgment Day offered, a spot on their faction for Jay.
Right.
Jay kind of looked like he was trying to process all that. Um, they gave all kind of reasons why he should join. There's no one leader like Roman. You know what I'm saying? We all have our opinions and a stake in everything. Like they tried to really sell it on him to get him there. But meanwhile, like you said, all the other guys, all the faces in the locker room that have been suffering through all the stuff that shenanigans from the bloodline, not really trusting. I'm curious about what might happen with Sammy and KO. I know they've
Right.
had their, I know they had their differences in the past, and turned their back on each other in the past, but they're brothers, from another mother, and but I don't think they definitely see eye to eye with the Jey Uso thing.
Right.
And they've been kind of doing, even when they was tag champs, you could kind of see where there was times where KO would tell Sammy, "Hey, we got to focus on these championships, not what's going on with Bloodline. You're done with Bloodline. Why are you so involved? You know what I'm saying?" He kept questioning that months ago. So I'm wondering if that ever going to fester. Right now, KO said, "Okay, cool, we'll see what's up," but I got a feeling that something might happen in there too. Um, but
It's like
and
a
also,
good.
and do you remember when Jay actually, you know, at one time he was debating whether he was going to be in or out the bloodline, and then like he said he was out, and then he ended up super kicking um,
Roman.
Sammy. You remember
Yeah,
that? You remember he double turned on Sammy when he was. He made it seem like he was going to be out the bloodline at one time, and then
I remember that one.
yeah, we'll go back. I go back. We'll go back, pull it up. But there was a
Mhm.
time where Jay was actually considering getting out the bloodline. Remember, because Roman kept, you know, uh, he kept, talking down on him and all this kind of stuff.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, but this was going back a little bit. But he kind of fooled us all on Monday Night Raw one night. So it's like there's a lot of things there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I remember. I remember. Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
So it's curious to see how this all pan out. So we can fast forward to the end of Raw because the Judgment in the match with the Judgment Day, I think KO and Jay was in the match against the Judgment Day, and Jay Uso super kicked like all of the Judgment Day. So I think we know he's not going to align with them, but he
Right.
did super kick KO, even though it was unintentional, but he did super kick KO. So where do you think they're going to go with all this?
It's wrestling, man. Nothing's unintentional. You hit me, man. So this is more of a split. I don't know what you're doing. Uh, and like you said with Sammy, it just seems like Sammy siding more with Jay than
Yeah,
KO. It's like they leaving KO out there on the island. And this real that super kick, I
yeah,
believe. I don't know, but it's some way they're gonna have to face each other to get it
yeah,
all out. They're
yeah.
gonna have to face each other to get it all out.
Okay, and not to
Once
mix everything up, but um, also I'm gonna go ahead and just make one more addition here. Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso had a match, right?
right. I'm glad you
And
got into that.
Drew kept bringing up how all the despicable things that happened in the past. He don't trust them. So they had that match, and Jay did do the super kicks, but he also got Claymore by Drew McIntyre, and Drew won the match. Cody Rhodes, he defeated Dominik in easy fashion. Cody
Mm-hmm.
Rhodes defeated Dominik in easy fashion. What else happened in Raw? Oh man,
Before you go on, that kind of surprised me because I thought in my mind I actually was thinking that would be a match that we would get down the line.
with
And
Cody
then
and with Cody and Dominik.
right, because I was like that would be the perfect match for Cody until he gets into his next storyline. So I didn't know it was going to be like a squash like that. So I'm
Yeah.
glad they did face each other, but I really thought that would be a big match.
Well, we're gonna talk more about Dominic and why I think it was a kind of a squash.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Kofi Kingston in a very good match, surprisingly good match with Ivar. Um, I didn't expect this match, but Ivar and Kofi, both of them are tag guys, but they went singles route and had an excellent match. Ivar had a big moonsault off the top rope that was amazing
Yes.
for a guy that size. But man, good match, man. That was a good match. Good
That
match.
I can't see. I guess I'm speaking in hindsight a little bit, but I think that match might have been better than if we got the tag team match.
I, I
So
I'm with you. That was a very good match.
yeah, that was a match that kind of stole the night
Yeah,
because, like we said, it was unexpected, and they may have did all that stuff on the fly. I don't know
man.
if
I
that
tell
guy
you.
just really thought about he was going to get on the top rope and do a moonsault.
Mm,
He really showcased himself. I like the Viking Raiders, but he really did showcase himself in that match. And like I said, I don't want this to happen because I don't like when it happens. I don't really like tag team splits like that. But this is one of those things where I can see like Otis and Dang, I can't even forget his partner now.
Chad Gable.
No. Otis's original partner,
Oh, Tucker.
Tucker. Tucker. Yeah. So he really did put himself on the map. Of course, Cody's a veteran, so he knows what he's doing in the ring. But with those two, powerhouse big guy, it's Ibar, right? That was Ibar, right?
Yeah, that was Ivar. Yeah.
Ibar versus a little guy like Kofi. I didn't see that happening, man. I didn't see them put on a good match like that.
Yeah, because all the stuff with Drew McIntyre and stuff that's been going on, I thought that it would be more focused there, but then it made
Right.
sense too that Drew McIntyre and Jay had to settle their differences Monday night. So I think it was good because the Viking Raiders and the New Day, they've had their issues
Right.
anyway. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So that was cool. A couple other matches just to name. Tommaso Ciampa, he defeated Giovanni Vinci from the
Funny.
yeah, from Imperium.
Right.
After they're still getting on Giovanni because he's not getting wins. They're kind of teasing like they're gonna, break that up from 3 guys to 2. I don't understand why, because I think they can make that a good tag team, and then they
Right.
could be like a tag faction where they have the tag titles and a singles title. So I don't understand why they would want to do that. But Bronson Reed and Chad Gable, good match. Bronson Reed wins that match. Gable, it was a
What you,
tough
what you
match,
think?
but it
What
made
you think?
sense.
You think that made sense um for him to get that victory over Gable?
Yeah, because Bronson Reed he's a big guy and he's a force too. So for him to lose that match, I don't think it hurts Gable for losing that match. 'Cause I think there's a batch of contenders. I think there's
Right.
Gable, Bronson Reed, Tommaso Ciampa. Uh, all these guys are in the picture for the IC title, in my opinion.
That's
I think they're
that's
gonna kind of use those 3 right there to work things
uh
out to see who can
thank
get to
thank
the
you.
IC. You get what I'm
So,
saying?
bro, I just looked into the future when you said that. Do you think that's what we're going to get, or do we need the right WWE? Are we going to get divisions?
Oh, wow.
We
Oh, hey
are,
man, make a note of. Hey, look, when we do the TKO episode, we'll put that in there.
yes, because I didn't even think about that. Because, like you said, nowadays it doesn't really hurt wrestlers because you're going to get top notch competition.
Yeah,
So either guy, and there's the betting thing too that rolls in. Either guy could actually get the win,
yeah,
and it doesn't really, losses may hurt you in your ranking, but hey, you go out the next guy. Next time you beat the next guy, you'll get back up.
right.
So you made a great point, and now I can actually definitely see why he won that match because
Yeah,
he,
that.
like you said, he is a force to be reckoned with. I really like him. I thought they would push him earlier, so I'm glad they did give him the win to let you know,
Yeah,
hey, this guy's still out there. So it was a good match. Of course, Chad Gable's been putting on bangers, so hopefully he go back in and retool. I don't think his quest for that title is finished yet.
no,
So
no, it's not over yet because he was even on the Bump, the weekly talk show, and he said that he's still going after that championship. He demands one more shot at it. I think he even went after Adam Pearce and let him know about that too.
right, right.
Chelsea
So,
Green.
so his focus is kind of off a little bit. I can see it.
Yeah. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Good. It was a good match, but it was interrupted. Interrupted by Nia Jax. I think this was more about Nia Jax again. Uh, making a statement on Raw, and that she's going to be in that title picture, and she's going to be the formidable opponent for Mommy. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
for Rhea Ripley.
yeah.
They're on a collision course at some point.
I,
Um,
I'm, I was questioning why she went after Shayna, but I know they got history. But also, I think that would be a good match for Shayna as well. Shayna still hasn't found her way. She beat Ronda Rousey, so I'm wondering why they, holding back on Shayna. She's a monster.
yeah.
So I hope they get along feud with this one because they have that history with each other.
Yeah, being
As
former tag team. Yeah.
and that can get some ring rust off of Nia before she tries to challenge it, Rhea for that title.
Okay. And what's your thoughts on Shinsuke and Ricochet? Obviously,
I
Shinsuke is fully under the skin of Rollins at this point. He got involved. But Ricochet, man, Ricochet struck him with a chair. He
Right,
snapped.
right. Little mean streak there from Ricochet, which that's why I said I actually like that. I like that. So now he's on Shinsuke's level. Shinsuke's been like he's back on the dark side, and
Yeah.
Ricochet can show you how I can get on that side too. And this also puts Ricochet in that picture,
Yes.
WWE title picture as well.
Yes, it does.
If he can get a victory against Shinsuke, hey, he might can challenge Seth for that title. He puts on great matches, and him versus Seth would be a great match.
Yes,
Even
it would.
him versus Shinsuke, that was a good match.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Ricochet, like you say, he's the highlight of the night, and he's a highlight of the night for a reason. He puts on, excellent matches.
yeah. Before we wrapped up, we talked about Drew, but we didn't talk about how he left Jay out there stranded.
Good point.
He was questioning himself, and then he walked away. So Drew's getting a little fed up. He
Yeah.
wanted to help him, but he was like, "Nah, you're on your own."
Exactly. You're on your own, brother. After all the stuff you've done to me, you know what I'm saying? If you think about it, he's well within his rights to do that. But again, with him being the face, that you're supposed to like turn the other cheek and kind of forgive. But it's
Right,
interesting to see that Drew he's been kind of grumpy, you know what I'm saying? Him and the
right.
New Day,
Perfect
you
word
know.
for grumpy.
Yeah. So we're gonna see where that all goes too. At some point he's gonna snap. He's gonna really snap at some point. Uh
You said the word. You snap, psychopath, the Scottish psychopath.
Oh yeah, that's hey, there we go. Come on, man, write itself sometime.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
Before we leave, because it's almost time for the Sports Brothers show, so make sure you all tune in for that.
Tune
Within
in.
around the next 10 minutes here, we're gonna have the NFL Week 2 review. Got a special guest on tonight too. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, somebody special. But before we do that, NXT, this ties back to what we was talking about earlier. I think I mentioned more about Dominik and how he got squashed there by Cody. But Dominik has a lot of things on his plate right now, being the NXT North American champion. Dragon Lee showed up on Raw.
right.
Uh, because he's the challenger for that North American Championship. So he's hot on the heels of Dominic. So he's got that to deal with. But also Dominic and Carmelo Hayes had a match Tuesday night on NXT. That match was you know uh, it was a good match, but then it was interrupted as well.
Titles
Um,
are on the line.
no titles on the line. It was just a
Oh,
match. Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. But both of those guys they both have things going on. Dragonoff is high on the heels of Carmelo Hayes. There was a couple spots in there where each wrestled threw the other one into Dragonoff. Dragonoff got involved, and he was tired of getting hit. But I understand when you're sitting out there ringside, you know something's gonna happen. I mean, don't sit ringside. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But he got involved. He came in there and he smashed up both of those guys, especially but Carmelo and Dragonoff are going to do a contract signing next week. Dominic not only has Dragon Lee, but what's my guy? Uh, oh man, they just slipped me. And he's really deserving of Mustafa Ali. Okay,
Right.
Mustafa's upset that Dragon Lee is getting another chance. This will be a second chance at the North American, and Mustafa's saying, "Hey, I deserve this opportunity," and he's gonna show up next week, and he's gonna kind of disrupt some things. So I'm waiting. Oh no, yeah, he's gonna show up on Raw, and that's what I was getting at you about was that on Raw next week, Mustafa Ali's gonna come out and confront this situation because the NXT North American Championship's on the line on Raw Monday night.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Which was the cross. I think we talked offline about. We was talking about Becky going over, and I was like, this. What you said something about this show is all it's all tying in, and I was trying to think who's that match that was going to be on Raw, and that's this man. We're gonna have to have another show because I think
Yep.
this is all dealing with that TKO merger. So we
Okay.
definitely have to really get it focusing on that TKO merger and what that's going to look like. And I think this all plays into it as well.
Okay, well we'll do a special episode like we about the TKO and our way too early predictions. So we need to do that on a outside of doing our reviews. We'll put one together. Me and we'll get that together. Make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe, notification bell so you'll be ready when it come out.
Can I get you a quick question on NXT?
Yes, sir.
I seen online there was another confrontation with Becky and Tiffany Stratton. Can
yes.
you tell us about it?
So there was a tag match with Becky Lynch. She had another partner with her. Tiffany Stratton is lined with another wrestler. They had a tag match. So yeah, there's still more to go there. They're going to have a rematch, and it's going to be let me see, it's going to be at the Premium Live event. Okay, coming up in a couple weeks. So they're going to have a match. They're going to have a rematch for the NXT Women's Championship.
This is NXT Premium Live event?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
is
that's
it the same night as No Mercy, or do you know?
Yeah, it's going to be No Mercy. Yeah.
I mean, not No Mercy, but Fastlane. Are they the same weekend?
No, it's two separate ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, two separate events. Yeah, No Mercy is going to be out in California, and Fastlane is in Indianapolis.
Okay, gotcha.
They couldn't have found a better, more appropriate place to have that that name, that particular Premium Live event than in Indianapolis.
Yep.
With the racing and everything. So yeah, but that wraps it all up.
Okay, man, another great show.
Yes, sir. Couldn't be great without you being there, man. You know what I'm saying? So great reviews.
Thanks for the platform.
Oh man, appreciate you being on. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, get ready because coming up in a few minutes here, Sports Brothers Show. We're going to break down NFL Week number 2.
Can you give a little taste of what you got? Any news?
Oh man, we're going to talk about Tom Brady, and yeah, we're going to talk about a little Tom Brady. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Nick Chubb injury, unfortunate injury for Nick Chubb. I seen that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some injury situations as well. We're going to talk about who's the contenders and who the pretenders are.
Okay. I'm going to check that out. Y'all check it out too.
All right.
Remember, sharing is caring for the Turnbuckle Talk and all the videos on 411. Check this one out. Check all the other ones out. Get caught up. Mr. 411 covers it all. He knows all. That's why they call him Mr. 411.
Oh, appreciate that, Reggie. Everybody have a good one.
Peace.